A very warm welcome to all of you. And the entire sequence of these slides have our own students as the spokesperson. So when you see that lovely face on that first screen, that's one of our students who is currently in year 3. So she's moving from year 2 to year 3. Right. So we are going to look at a program that will take you from one city to different cities across the world. And once you finish the program, you're looking at conquering the world itself. We will create in you the right knowledge, the right skills, the right attributes to become a global manager, to become a global leader. Let's look at the current challenge that we face across the world. We are looking at a pandemic. We are looking at an unseen enemy. We are looking at something that's happened out of nowhere, for which we weren't totally prepared. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know where it came from, though people say it came from a lab. Some people say it came from a marketplace. We don't know the origins, but it's had the privilege of going and infesting, more than 205 countries across the world. Each of these countries have been affected in one way or the other, and we are facing a global catastrophe. Now, does that mean the end of the world? Not really, because I believe the power of human ingenuity can ensure that not only do we overcome this pandemic, but we will also come better, we'll become more intelligent, we'll also have more ideas about how to face these kind of challenges. I mean, that's the history of humanity. I'm not saying this to please you, but that's been the history of humanity. We have had such challenges before. We've had them for the last 100 years. We've had them for many 100 years. And every time there's been a catastrophe like this, the first thing is that many times like this, we are never ready for it. But having said that, we would be able to overcome them, each time. And not only will we overcome them, we'll come back better. So if you, turn back to the pages of history, you'll realize that after World War I, they said that's the end of the world. But we actually became better. Then came the Great Depression, 1930s, we became better. Then came World War II, we became better. So there is this whole cycle of getting into some kind of catastrophic situation and then coming out of it. So I believe this is one more, though it has been quite extensive, quite distinct and quite challenging. I'm sure that we will come back with the right solutions and we'll be able to face the world. Will it be the end of these kind of pandemics? Well, I can't answer that, but I'm sure that we will be better off in terms of understanding the nature and the way to solve them by understanding these pandemics. Right, so the question to you is, all of you are now in the threshold of looking at your futures. You're looking at what you should be doing post your high school. You're looking at what kind of options, how do I plan my future? The whole thing looks gory. So I want to share with you, certain things which I believe will be very relevant. Now, a lot of us must be watching the television, ironically, for the wrong reasons. Why do I say that? Because when you open the television channels, the news channels, everything that you see is only pertaining to COVID. I have nothing against it, but you have to be very careful what you hear and from where you hear or see. Why do I say this? Because I have a background in neuroscience, so I'm going to give you the brain science behind why media tells us all the bad news. The human brain is hardwired for negativity. That's the sad truth. That's the reality. That our brains are hardwired for negative information. So you might ask, why is that so? It's because the brain has a component within itself that is for survival. So every time it knows there's some danger, that there's something that's lurking, it takes precautionary measures to ensure that it doesn't succumb to those threats. So that's the reason. But the reality is, yes, we do have threats, but we also have ways and means by which we can come out of it. I'll give you a simple example. I'll give you 2 examples. So one of it is, now you would be seeing these media reports that talk about the number of people who get affected. They'll say that this place has become a quarantine, this place is a hotspot, so many number of people are dying, so on and so forth, which is all true. But have you ever seen, very rarely would a media talk about the number of people's recovering and the number of people who actually die as a percentage or proportion to the total number of people affected and to the total number of population. This is one very important statistic insight. The second important insight is equally important, if not more, that, believe me, I wish I could show that on the screen, but you guys can go and Google this. There was this graph that was prepared by Brookings. Brookings is a highly respected research institution based out of the US, and they do cutting-edge research on various factors, including the current pandemic. And last week, they came back with a lovely graphic which showed something from China. So that graph was about the number of deaths that happened in China from the 1st of January 2020 to the 1st of April 2020. That is the 1st of this month. And then there are a number of causes of these deaths, including heart attack, lung diseases, liver diseases, road accidents, so on and so forth. Even dementia, mental illness, so on and so forth. And ironically, you will find that the number of people who died at the peak of the COVID crisis in China was 49th in that ranking. So if the number one killer of Chinese people during this time, 1st January to April, was heart attack or heart challenges, the 49th cause of disease was COVID, or death was COVID. So I think we need to have a perspective on what's happening, not get into paranoia. I'm not saying you can be flippant about it, you can be easy about it or casual about it. You need to be serious, you need to be prepared, you need to take the precautionary measures, but you don't need to go into doomsday mode saying, oh my God, what's going to happen? Right? So a few weeks, maybe a few months will come back. And as the economists tell us, there are going to be some recessionary trends, which will run for, in some countries, a few months, in some countries, 6 months, and probably for some countries, almost a year. But what it also tells us is that we will bounce back. We'll bounce back with much more vigor and much more relevance. So again, coming back to this very important question about your futures, who do you want to be when you graduate? Each of you would have so many different dreams about what you want to be. Some of you may be, coming from business families, and you might say, okay, I do a global program. I'm going to go back and work for that. Some of you may have a lot of startup ideas, and you might be thinking of starting a business when you finish a good MBA, a bachelor's program. So each of us would have dreams about what we want to do. And here are two interesting comparisons. Sam D'Souza is a made-up character. Sam is, made up for our understanding. And let's visualize Sam D'Souza as somebody who had his education, work experience, everything only in Singapore. So all 4 years, Sam studies in Singapore for a 4-year program. And after that, probably he gets work in, Singapore. Now, on the right side, you see Anjani Kapoor. I'm going to show you Anjani's picture in a moment. Anjani is a current student of SPJ. So she just completed last year, 2019, and she's finally placed in a large advertising company in Sydney. So now look at Anjani's profile. She started a first year bachelor's in Singapore. She interned at Google Singapore, and she also interned at Philips later. So she had 2 internships, one in Google, one in Philips, year 1, which was during the 4 months that she had when she didn't have classes. And then she moves on to Dubai in year 2, 2016, 2017. Again does an internship between April and August of 2017 in Philips Lighting, Middle East and Turkey. Third year, she moves on to Sydney, where she does another interesting internship in a company called Excel Blue. Some of them are paid, some of them are not paid. And finally, after finishing a program, she gets a final placement at MediaCorp. Now, unfortunately, I'm not able to show Anjani's video, but you can see her face. That's Anjani for you. And, she's still available. So some of you who want to hear Anjani's story from her, you can write to her. Our undergrad team will be happy to give you Anjani's coordinates, her telephone number, her WhatsApp, whatever, and you can call and talk to her. As I said, I can't play the video because of technology restrictions with this particular webinar platform. Right. Now, our job when you decide to do this global program, is to make you a more confident version of yourself. So many of you will have a lot of accomplishments in your academics, in your co-curriculars, what we call, extracurriculars. You might be accomplished sports persons, you might be debaters, quizzers, you might have all kinds of interesting talents. Our job in the next 4 years is to train you to become a better version, a more confident version of yourself, right? So that's what we do, and how do we go about doing it is what we will share in the next few slides. Again, every time, so you would start in Mumbai or Singapore, year 1. Year 2, you will come to Dubai, and year 3 and 4, you will spend in Sydney, Australia. Now, each of these cities, Mumbai, Dubai, Singapore, Sydney, they're all iconic business capitals. Some of them currently have been affected. As you know, Mumbai in Maharashtra has been one of the worst affected in the COVID crisis. But that again is because of the density of the population. And as I said, it's not the end of the world. It is a temporary lapse. We have to pray that, the right measures are taken so that not many people. And if you see globally, we have one of the lowest death rates compared to many other countries. And I am not gloating over it. I wish and pray that other countries also have lower rates and, quickly complete what they have to do. So you will be learning. So when you are in Dubai, when you are in Singapore, when you're in Mumbai, when you're in Sydney, you actually learn at 2 levels. So you will learn business inside the classroom. Professors like me will teach you, but also you will learn outside the classroom. What do I mean by that? We have dedicated teams which are called global learning teams, and their job is to ensure that a lot of learning happens outside, the classroom. Let me give you an example from Singapore or Dubai. In Singapore, you will visit the Singapore, Mint. You'll go to the Singapore Parliament. You'll go and visit a couple of media companies in Singapore, Singapore Television. You might probably go to a couple of financial services institutions. So you are learning about the Singapore economy, the Singapore business from a Far Eastern perspective. As you know, Singapore is a classic place for, an amalgamation of different cultures, including Malay, Indian, Chinese, and of course, cultures from different parts of the world. When you come to Dubai, you will also have similar kind of experiences when you're in Mumbai. You'll probably learn from a few professionals coming from different consulates. For example, last time we had the Israeli consul general who came across and gave a couple of sessions for our students. You might, do a couple of intercultural activities with different countries, which is also what the Mumbai students did. You might have industry lectures from professionals coming from multinational companies, some of them, international, some of them Indian. So you would have a wide band. Some of our students actually organized a TEDx talk. Some of you may be familiar with TEDx. They did a TEDx talk. So you have a lot of exciting things that happen in each of these cities. When you go to Sydney, you are learning from a first world country. Sydney represents what Australia stands for. Sydney stands for what a global capital is supposed to be. Sydney stands for one of those iconic financial capitals. So that's what you learn. So Dubai, Singapore, Sydney, each one is a classic tale of success. Mumbai included. Each one is a classic tale of success. Each one is a classic tale of business and progress. For example, in Dubai, it's such an interesting thing that Dubai has only desert sands. It doesn't have, many things to actually boast. But today, it is so iconic. It's become a commercial destination. It's become a dream destination for various kinds of businesses. It's also become a destination which is creating record after record after record. In fact, Dubai has the classic distinction of being the city with the largest number of world records to its credit. The largest, the biggest, the tallest, the widest, so on and so forth. Now, we did have the big dream of doing the Expo 2020 this time. But thanks to COVID, coronavirus, it's been postponed by a year. But that's again exciting. It'll still happen. And here's the best part. God willing, if some of you join this year, you would be in Singapore or Mumbai in year 1. And you will come to Dubai in September 2021. And guess what? There would be Expo 2021. That's what you should call it then. And you would be part of it. We have a strategic tie-up with the Expo 2021 authorities. We have programs designed for our students. We have our students who will be volunteering in many of these initiatives. So you will have the exciting opportunity to be with us at SPJ in Dubai to actually be part and parcel of the Expo 2020, which will happen in 2021. So between October of 2021 and May of 2022, you would have this rare distinction of being in our school and also being part of Expo 2020. Right. And then you will go on to Sydney, where you learn about how a first world country does business, how it does politics, how it has culture, and how it also has entertainment. And each one have their own slew of entertainment options available for you. So, as I said, fourth largest financial hub in the world, strong connections with the West, ranked as one of the most competitive economies, and home to 4 large ethnic minorities: Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Eurasian. Mumbai, financial hub, Bollywood, economic powerhouse and industrial hub, ranked as the world's 12th wealthiest global city. You might not know this, but that's the good news for you. A vibrant creative arts center that plays host to several national and international events. Dubai, a very iconic city, as I told you, city for top 10 cities for expatriates, leading global player, transportation, logistics, and one of the safest cities, and as I told you, a Guinness World Record holding city. Sydney, one of the world's most green, global, and connected cities, balanced lifestyle, great outdoors, headquarters for almost 40% of the top 500 Australian corporations, and is a leading center for innovation and entrepreneurship. 35% of Australian startups come from Sydney. Right. So what will you do in these cities besides studying? As I told you, you'll do a lot more. You will organize events, you will be part of cultural events, you'll be part of entertainment, you'll be part of projects, you'll be part of internships, you'll be part of business. How does all this help you? It helps you to become globally intelligent. It widens your horizon to get a global mindset. You work in global teams because you will have students coming from nothing less than 25 to 30 different countries. That's one of our students all the way from Mexico. You will also decipher how technology is disrupting businesses worldwide. And finally, you will be able to develop the global social skills that you require to prepare you for a global job or to actually have a global business. Right. So you will also be taught by professors who are not your typical academic professors. Almost all of us, including me, we come with corporate experience. I, for one, was a consultant who had worked with governments and private institutions in Singapore, in Dubai, in India, as part of a team that launched Titan watches to India, as part of a team that worked on launching Moods condoms in India. So a lot of practical, hands-on experience is what you get from our professors. You can see a snapshot of some of us. That's Dr. Shiva, who's based out of Sydney, a Malaysian, and that's Dr. Shalini in Singapore. That's Professor Golo, and this is Professor Robert. All of them coming from different countries, but having diverse academic backgrounds from some of the best business schools in the world: Harvard, Duke, Cornell, Oxford, Cambridge, Warwick, to name a few. And that's the kind. And of course, as I said, we come with live, practical, professional experience. So which means we'll give you unique opportunities to embark on a global career. Now, here's a very interesting slide. This is of students who completed the program 2019 and were ready for jobs. So almost, in fact, more than 50% of our students, which is about 200 plus, found jobs and internships in Australia, because Australia offers the post-study work rights, which means after you finish the 2-year program, the last 2 years in Australia, you have a unique opportunity to continue to be in Australia, to find internships, to work for companies in Australia. And look at the good news there. The average graduate salary for our undergrad students was 55,000 Australian dollars. Apart from Australia, of course, students also got placements in US, Germany, Dubai, Japan, Singapore, Brazil, Argentina, Vietnam, India, and Rwanda. Some of the companies that our students worked, you can have a look. I'll take a 30-second pause. You can have a look at these companies. So that's the exciting part. You will have an opportunity to work for many of these companies. These are, of course, across different countries. And all these details are available on our website, or you can talk to our partners and be happy to give you those details. The other very interesting, important thing is that you will graduate with a fully accredited Australian degree from a top-ranked business school. As some of you may be aware, we are ranked among the top 100 in the world in Financial Times twice. We've been ranked among the top 100 in the world in The Economist. We've been ranked top 20 in the world, top 10 in the world by Forbes International Magazine US. And most recently, we were ranked by the Times Higher Education and Wall Street Journal as number 4 in the world. Now, there's another interesting thing is that these rankings are in comparison to 14,500 business schools across the world. So when you're saying top 100, top 20, top 10, it means we are right on top among thousands of business schools across the world. Right. So our global rankings, as I told you, there are many more, and you can check our website to check this out. Undergrad, we have 4 options available for you. We have the 4-year Bachelor's in Business Administration, where you start the first year in Mumbai or Singapore. Year 2, you come to Dubai, all of you, whether you start in Mumbai or you start in Singapore. That's a standard process, so there are no choices. And then year 3 and year 4, you will complete in Sydney. The reason why we do year 3 and 4 is you'll get 2 years if you study in Australia. You are eligible for what we call the post-study work rights, which every student who does the 2-year program in Australia is eligible for. You have 3 options. You can opt for marketing as an option, or finance as an option, or entrepreneurship. And each of these will have a set of elective subjects you will do, which you can do. Some of you, if you feel, you can also do a mix and match of dual specialization, which is also possible. Year 1, the subjects are all common. Year 2 is when you will decide on your specialization. We'll run different workshops for you, and then you can choose which one you want to do, and then move on to do it. And then, of course, every year you have an opportunity to do internships, and year 2, you can also go on an international exchange if you want to. Of course, there's competition, but you can still go for it, and then graduate with an Australian degree 2 years. Second one is the Bachelor's in Economics. This is for people who are good with maths and numbers. We have an aptitude for this. It's a 3-year program. Year 1, you will do in Mumbai or Singapore, along with the BBAs. And year 2 and 3, you can do in Sydney. So that's another option, which means if you do the last 2 years in Sydney, you again get post-study work rights in Sydney. This is a program, of course, for people with math orientation. The options available are, you can see the courses there: game theory, macroeconomics, monetary, international trade. And you can get into the financial sector as an economist, as a financial analyst, as an investment broker, various options available, which you can opt for. For those of you who have a flair for communication, marketing, brand building, then Bachelor's in Business Communication. Year 1, you will start in Mumbai or Singapore, just like the BBA. But year 2 and 3, you will go to Sydney. The difference between economics and BBC is that this is for people who have a creative flair, who want to do communication, marketing, brand building, social media, so on and so forth. Again, plenty of options available. You can become a qualified marketing professional doing this. The last one is Bachelor's in Data Science, 3-year program. First year Mumbai, and years, this doesn't have a Singapore component. Year 1 is either Mumbai or Sydney, and then year 2 and 3 in Sydney if you do Mumbai year 1. You also have a second option where all 3 years you can do in Sydney. As you know, data scientists are today a very rare breed. There are millions of jobs available pre and post-COVID. So obviously, there is a great opportunity for you to look at this as an option, right? Again, 2 years post-study work visa. So you've seen this. It's just a snapshot of how the transfers take place. Right, post-study work visa is that given by the Australian government. And as I shared earlier, in 2019, we had more than 50% of our students using the post-study work rights. How do you get into the admission process? You can talk to our partners, Univariety, who would be very happy to guide you towards the various stages. Step 1 is an application online, and you would definitely have to have an aptitude test score, which is either a SAT, or you can do one of our tests, which is called the SP Jain entrance test, SP JET. You can do that. Once you do that, you will also have an interview and an evaluation. The evaluation will have a creativity component. It'll have an essay and case study, and it'll have a personal interview. So what we're looking for is a holistic person who understands from a broader perspective, and then we'll give you 3 options. Option 1, you're given an offer letter, so you become part of this very exciting global program, or you'll be waitlisted because we want to review you again, or for some genuine reason, we might reject you, but that doesn't mean the end of the world. It means there are other options available elsewhere, which you should explore. So, in a nutshell, this is what it is. And for all of you who have been part of this presentation, very warm welcome. We look forward to seeing you as part of this global cohort. These are all our students, by the way, who are now coming into year 2. So they were in year 1 in Singapore last year. They're coming to year 2 in Dubai, September 2020. And you can be part of this global troop. I'm going to show you some pictures, and then I'll take questions. That's our Singapore campus, which has, a campus and a hostel, a couple of cafeterias, sporting facilities, gymnasium, everything in one place. And then you have, this is our residential facility at Singapore. And this is our Mumbai campus. That's our simulation center at our Mumbai campus. So some of you can visit after, the COVID lockdown is finished. That's our Dubai hostel. And that's our Australia hostel facilities. Right. So with that, I'm ending my presentation. I've taken about 3 minutes extra. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take those questions. And Aryan has a question. What is the ranking for the undergrad program? Rankings for the undergrad program, Aryan, happen after 5 years. This is our 5th year. So once we finish this, we will get into the ranking. But you can understand that it is there by the time you guys join, you guys finish, we would definitely be on the rankings globally for undergraduate programs. Can you tell which school it is actually? I joined late. Agam, this is the SP Jain School of Global Management with campuses in Dubai, Singapore, Sydney, and Mumbai. Okay? It's an Australian business school with campuses in Dubai and Singapore and Mumbai and Sydney. Right. Then Johan has a very important question. Is COVID-19 going to get a cure in 2020? And will we be safe in the future? Very genuine, very important question, Johan. I don't want you to panic, okay? I want you to have a positive outlook. You should also be reading reports, okay? Reports from, I'd like to give you a website called goodnewsnetwork.org, okay? Let me put that for you in your in the web, in the chat box. So you guys should visit this website because, among other things, it also has answers to Johan's question, which is about is there going to be a cure for COVID? So it will give you updates on what's happening in different research institutions. It will tell you the remarkable work that's happening across the world. Okay, so I think you should be able to see these things. Yesterday, there was a very interesting, good piece of information from the Oxford University that they have already, gone ahead with manufacturing a vaccine, 1 million cases of vaccine, and 7 countries have been identified for this, one of which happens to be India. So you can, if you require, after the session is over, you can Google Oxford University vaccine process. You'll find some updates on it. So there are a lot of things that are happening. In fact, there are more than 80 plus medical and healthcare institutions across the world that are doing this. So you don't need to really worry about, the cure. Definitely it will happen. Rupak, the expenses for the 4-year BBA program, I would encourage you to check the website because it's got all the updated details. I am based in Dubai at the moment. It will tell you the fee for the program. It will tell you the living expenses, because the living expenses, again, are based on living in our hostel facilities. You can opt for living outside, so you can do that. Okay. So, that is another option you have. And of course, you have scholarships if you're a deserving candidate with the right kind of academic background. You're more than welcome to apply for the scholarships, and you would be eligible for them. Yash wants to know, which university am I representing? We represent the SP Jain School of Global Management, which is a highly ranked top 10 business school in the world with campuses in Dubai, Singapore, Sydney, and Mumbai. Okay. And Unspeakable Boy wants to promote his YouTube channel. Okay, God bless you for that. I'm an 11th standard student, Ishan says, and I still have a chance to choose my career options. I have my passion, but I want to know from you, what will be the upcoming time for which career will become the hot option and most exciting career? Ishan, the answer to that is any career can be hot and exciting. What you need to ask yourself is, what career will excite you? Okay, that is important. I think the most important thing is you need to be aware that you have an option to become anything you want. Having said that, the world is moving towards a digital world, which means you will have options to look at courses that blend the technology and also look at human skills. So you can look at artificial intelligence, big data, blockchain, Internet of Things, data security, cyber security, so on and so forth. You can also combine that with the convergence of human intelligence and machine intelligence. So there's plenty of things you can do. Ishan, you still have one more year, so you can dabble in all of this. The answer to your question should be, which one is the hottest is the wrong one. What is passionate for you? It can be anything. It can be making music on YouTube. It can be creating movies. It can be, sculpting. It can be starting a business. Whatever it is, find your passion. Once you find your passion, pursue that passion, right? So that's what you should be looking at. And any other questions that are there? COVID cure. Does SP Jain offer MBA? Yes, Yash. We have an MBA. We have a master's. We also have another one, which is about our doctorate in business administration. So you can look at our undergrad program, our master's program, MBA program, and we also have a doctoral program. Right. There is going to be a cure. Yes, Aryan. India is testing something. Yes. I think there's a parent here, Rupak Sani. My son has just entered class 12. When should he apply for SP Jain? Sir, he should apply. He should start looking at it now. And he can start his SAT exam, SAT entrance in 2020 or 2021. Because admissions for the 2021 cycle will start from January onwards, February onwards. And then he can prepare for his SP JET or SAT and then move on. Again, the same parent has asked, what's the criteria for scholarship? Outstanding academic track record. We look at extracurricular performance. We look at sports, if they have an outstanding sports record. And if they've done something remarkable, started something, did something unique, wrote a book, all kinds of things. So we look at all of that and then try to provide them a scholarship, which could be either 25%, 50%, whatever, on the total tuition fee for all the 4 years. The one thing you need to be aware is you need to have you need to fulfill the criteria every year, and then you would be eligible for the scholarships. How can we check the undergrad ranking? You can check our website, Aryan. You can check our website regularly, and you will find updates on that. Agam says, yes, you should start preparing now, Agam. Aryan says 1250 SAT score, which is more than adequate. You should be able to apply for that, 100%. Right, I think we have another 5 more minutes in case you guys have any questions, because I'm done. And if you have any questions, feel free to talk to our friends, partners in Univariety, or you can talk to our own people, SP Jain's people, and I'll be happy to answer them. If someone is not sure about the career, okay, here's another new question. Someone is not, one moment. My son has entered. How can you check the other? Okay. So I'm in 11th. When should I start preparing? I told you now. I have 1, 2. If someone is not sure about the career which he's going to opt, then shall one consult? Yes, you should consult a career, Arshdeep, you should consult a career counselor before you give the aptitude test. In fact, some of these counselors will also do what's called a career counseling test. So they'll give you an aptitude test to find out what are the options available for you, and then tell you should look at a career in marketing, look at a career in computers, so on and so forth. Books for SAT, you can check out. You just Google, just ask for SAT training materials or preparation materials. Many free resources are available online, and you can buy some books. Barron's is there, Barrons, Barron's, or Princeton Review. Both are good, Agam. You can go for either. When will we get a cure? I told you we will get a cure. Johan, I think you seem to be very worried about the cure. 100%. This will be there. Yeah. Yash again has an answer for it. Everything you need for SAT is a good book. Yes, you can buy that. But there are a lot of free resources first. On the web, you can check out free resources. And after that, you can buy one of the books. Okay. There'll be a lot of downloadable resources which should be there. Aditya wants to know what is the average tuition fees. It's about 35 to 40 lakhs. Again, multiple cities, followed by placement in one of the cities. Dubai, Singapore, Sydney, or India. Okay. Right. I have another 3 more minutes. So in case you have any more questions, feel free to ask me. Some of you have thanked me in private, so thank you guys. Yeah, if I don't play sports at school level and just play it for fun, will it count as? Yes, it will count as extracurricular, but it may not be considered for, scholarship. A scholarship is for somebody who has done outstanding contribution in a particular area. So you played at the national level, you created a short film, or you started something, those kind of things. That's what we mean by this one. But playing sport, I mean, it is an extracurricular, but not for scholarship, Aryan. Yeah, Khan Academy is another great source. There is Coursera. There are many sources available. You just have to Google and find out free resources or free sources for SAT. You'll get plenty of ideas. Yes. Great. Guys, it was a pleasure, doing this webinar for you. Wherever you are, whoever you are, I wish you good luck. Stay safe. I'm sure we'll all come out of this very well, and use this time usefully. For all of you who attend this webinar, I know that you guys are serious. That's very good. Okay. And please share these kind of opportunities with your friends so others can also get the benefit, right? Aryan again says, good careers in humanities. I'm in Arshdeep. Yeah, see, there's filmmaking, there's movie making, there's music making, there's media. There's all kinds of things you can do, right? So there's so much you can do. Humanities is a huge area. Psychology, social sciences, which are all gaining great significance. Okay, so plenty of options and opportunities even within the humanities field because of the rampage of technology. A lot of people want to know the human side of it. Okay, so there's plenty of options available. Don't worry, right? Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you very much. I wish you good luck and God bless and stay safe. I pray the world will become much better. 1,200, Aditya. Aditya has a question here. 1,200 is the SAT score that's required. So minimum. All right. Thank you guys. Good luck. God bless you. Take care.